All right, good morning. We are live. We're live, and I'm excited because I'm joined with two of my lifelong friends. These guys have been in my life for more than 20 years, and I want you all to check this conversation out because we're going to dive into some stuff. Dion cracked a joke a while ago and says, "Boy, how did I collaborated something with him and Quintin Percentie? The energy on this deal is going to be crazy." Dion, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on the show this morning. I look forward into discussing all of the topics that you have available for us today. So thank you once again, and congratulations on the talk show.
Man, thank you very much, man. It's been exciting. 2021. We're in 2021. Quintin
Oh
Percentie,
yeah.
welcome back to Effective Living.
Yes, good morning. Happy New Year. And I'm looking forward to effectively living in 2021.
Come on, that's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor and share this. Someone is going to enjoy our conversation this morning. I'm telling y'all, this is going to be real good. Let's dive into this. Last year, man, guys, the pandemic hit. Bam! And in the midst of all of the disruption that was occurring in the earth, you guys continue to move forward in spite of a pandemic. I want you all to talk about your view on 2020 and how much disruption, in your opinion, occurred during that time.
Yeah. So 2020 pandemic hit a lot of persons unexpectedly. And with the pandemic, those persons who've done well in the pandemic, we got persons who now are taking risk, persons who are now opening businesses and becoming their own bosses. Any companies that you had investments in the retail business, in the medical field, anything with the gaming, home delivery, home exercising, all those companies did well. And if you had investments in those companies, you're smiling at the bank today.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I know a number of you guys are saying you're hearing some echo. That's okay. That ain't going nowhere. We're going to navigate beyond that echo that you're hearing. But Quintin Percentie, 2020, the pandemic occurred. I know as an attorney, when people put money down, I don't care what's happening in the world. Y'all don't give money back.
Well, 2020, was an unusual year. I think one of the major problems was when we look around the world, a lot of people were thinking that, listen, they're going to have a handle on the pandemic in a few months. So a lot of people had this, hey, wait and see.
Yeah.
Right. And so those persons who didn't pivot and who didn't prepare properly got stuck in the pandemic. Yeah. And in the legal profession, even in the Bahamas, the legal profession's almost shut down.
Mm.
Most of the courts were closed. Either they were social distancing and having only types of court in terms of first plea in the criminal section, but mainly in the civil and the commercial sector, they were waiting and they were playing the waiting and see game, I call it. But those persons who were able to pivot, to think quickly on their feet, and to make adjustments, they did well during the pandemic.
Wow. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Dion, you went to school in the Bahamas. You went to City Market. You were packing groceries. You and we packed groceries back in the day. I don't know.
Super value.
You did Super Value. Listen,
Yeah.
I think Percentie did Super Value. That was 2 streets down from his house, so he could call a gang. He don't get robbed. He didn't get robbed. Fellas, them know he was from Union Village. But you grew up in the Bahamas, Dion Percentie, with an extreme work ethic from an early age. Looking back over your childhood, hustling your way into college, eventually investing in business and becoming known as a strong business professional. what would you say is 3 principles? I want both of you guys to answer this, but the first one goes to Dion. What would be 3 lifelong principles you learned? Packing groceries, somewhat walking the street, going to school, becoming who you are today, something that you to this day can shape because it's a principle that has now become a part of who you are.
I thank you for asking that question. It's such a powerful question. And just listening to that, it actually takes me back and it gets me a little emotional because as you look back in years on where you've come from and where you are right now, I'm telling you, the book could never have been read or written for this journey that I think I've accomplished thus far. But the 3 things that come to mind is hard work, staying committed, and then staying focused. Those 3 things actually carried me through and still carrying me through now. That hard work would always pay off at the end of the day. Being committed to what you're doing. Don't waver. Don't look to the left or the right. Stay focused and staying focused because there's a lot of distraction out there and you can get caught up with those if you're not focused. So those 3 principles, it kept me and it's still keeping me today. And I would advise anybody to stay focused.
You know, before we go on to Quintin Percentie, I remember you being at City Market and fellas them would want to take your money. And you stayed focused. I mean, you went to, was it C.I. Gibson? I think you went to C.I. Gibson. And you hustle your way on. I remember you went did some money to go on a cruise. Was it a cruise that you did early on back in the day?
Yeah, Ricardo, I mean, these memories are so emotional for me, man, because definitely you and I worked together. We go way back, into the Bahamas. I worked at an early age and packing groceries, being able to pay my own cruise for the first year, and definitely staying focused on the task that my mom and my parents set out for me. But the journey was not easy, but the payoff is definitely rewarding once you stay focused and stay committed to the plan.
Excellent. In addition, Quintin Percentie had some of that similar. He was surrounded by 25 brothers, though. You know? You wasn't going to take Quintin Percentie's lunch money. You weren't going to take his pocket money. Everybody knew he had a lot of brothers. Percentie, what has been 3 principles that you still find yourself living with, governing you now as attorney at law, Quintin Percentie, businessman, Quintin Percentie? What would you say is something, looking back, you got it then and you still do it now?
You know, Dion hit it right on the head. Hard work, being committed. But you know, that faith factor plays the difference. You know, having your faith in God, having your faith in all being, all knowing, that helps quite a bit, especially when I transitioned out of the Bahamas into America to do my first undergraduate studies. But you know, in the Bahamas, it was the community of people. Oh my, those elders, those old folks. Oh boy, those words of wisdom, Miller. Those Acklands people. I mean, you know, they might not have had too much education, but they had that mother's wit. You know, and they gave you words of encouragement that last me, what I'll say, even to this day.
Wow, that is so good. You know, I can remember growing up in the Bahamas, and as you mentioned, different people would say different things to you that was instrumental in helping you to become who you are today. I remember a lady saying to me as I was in a gang, I was still hanging with my friends, and I was walking through, and she said, "Young man, come here," and with authority. And back then, you did not continue walking. You just knew you had to have some respect to go over to the lady. And I went over to the lady, and my friends was laughing because she called me, and I respectively went over to her, and she says, "You don't belong with those boys." She said, "You don't belong here. You something different about you." Those words never left me. Those were, she sat on her porch. Oftentimes she watched us walk past, saw us get in trouble. She knew what was happening in the neighborhood from her porch. Everybody knew that person who lived in the neighborhood, who sat on their porch, and they pretty much knew almost everything that was going on. But she said to me, you don't belong with these boys. You don't belong on these streets. Looking back, I can remember my mother, Dion, would refer to her telling the boys, leave him alone when he was doing his grocery.
Yeah.
There's always.
I was the shortest one there.
Listen, before we go on, think back about somebody who was instrumental for you guys, and what was the statement or the idea that was introduced to you through someone, a coach, a teacher, a parent, someone in the neighborhood, a pastor. I know while thinking about that, I just want you all to know when Quintin Percentie came back from college, from university, he went a religious person and had to come back knowing God at Living Waters. And so he connected with his brother, me, and we went over and was a part of the forming group that birthed Living Waters Kingdom Ministries. And so that's what kept Percentie. That's the spirit-filled dynamics of Quintin Percentie, just so y'all know. But seriously though, when you look back, who was instrumental, or what was a statement that was said by someone that you never shook, that you kept with you to this day as well?
For me, I grew up, my parents were older folks. In fact, my dad, if he was still alive, he would have been 85 today. And he had a 4th, 5th grade education. And you know what he always tell us? He said, listen, take advantage of an education. He said, study hard. He went to America in 1952 to work on the contract. That was picking fruits and vegetables. He did that for 4 or 5 years. And he said when he left the Bahamas in 1952, he left his mother with 8 children. And when he returned, it was about 12 or 14. All right. So he didn't know a number of his brothers and sisters when he returned. But he said, work hard. So study hard. Stay focused on an education so that you don't have to work hard like how I had to. That stuck with me.
Wow. What about you, Dion?
Yeah, so I have to contribute it to my mom. I mean, we would wake up early in the morning and, she's like, hey, sometime I was like, oh, I'm not going to school today. She said, no. You going to school. And I have to agree with Percentie that my mom played an instrumental role in enforcing a quality education. She insisted it. She demanded it. And the payoff was great and is great.
Listen, let me ask you this, but going back to you, Dion, when you think of the term failing forward, what comes to mind? The term, people, oh man, 2020 was a rough year for me. And, I've had my high and lows. Some people, they feel as though they've been going through multiple seasons. If you're in the Bahamas and you live in Grand Bahamas or Abaco, you would feel as though, my God, I dealt with a Category 5 hurricane. To come out of a hurricane to go into a pandemic, failing forward, the term failing forward, what comes to mind starting with you?
Well, failing forward, I think that's being able to continue taking risk and not being able to fall backwards. Failing forward is always embracing those opportunities, and knowing that if you are not failing, you're not trying. So failing forward is pushing, taking bold risk, and definitely making sure that you embrace any opportunities that there are.
Yeah. Quintin Percentie?
Man, when I heard about the word failing forward, John Maxwell.
Yeah.
He said it right in his book.
Yeah.
Failing is a part of life.
It is.
And you have to know how to embrace failure and to use failure as a part of your stepping stone in life. Okay? I think John Maxwell said it correctly that, failure actually would define average individual from above average individual.
Wow.
Knowing how to pivot once you would have failed. Failure is a part of life. So you have to embrace failure, and you have to use that as a stepping stone to get to where you would like to get to in life.
Hey,
And never quitting.
never
quitting.
Yeah, you're making that commitment. I won't quit. I won't quit. I'm going to continue to move forward. I've been declaring that 2021 is the year for winning in every area. I believe it's critical that we condition our minds to believe that all of our parts can come together for our good. There are people who are struggling with the idea of failing forward because they failed and they're holding on to what has happened in their life. And they don't understand that really life is 90% of what happens to you, 10% of what happens to you, and 90% of how you respond to it. So it's all about the response, right? It's all about the response. Let's talk about the fact that, you know, both of you guys have had to do some difficult things in that of your profession. And I know, Dion, you do a lot of business. For someone who has to be released from a job, someone who has to be fired, someone who has to be laid off. I want to go to you, Percentie, for someone who is going to be convicted, someone who is going to spend time. But the reality of it is, the person being laid off, Dion, the person being fired, the person being asked to leave the property doesn't mean you don't have a future in front of you. It just simply means right now you're going to have to suffer the consequences to whichever, whatever is the reason why this decision had to be made in the moment. Same thing with you, Percentie. Talk about the fact that there are people who would sort of believe it's over for them, and it really isn't. It's just a moment. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Well, certainly. You know, in any criminal system and in any prison system, you have a lot of innocent persons who are in prison, and you have a lot of guilty folks. Okay, now we live in a universe. Sometimes people say it's unfair. Yeah, but it's that fate factor. A guilty person could sometimes be free because of their fate. It's not over because you were convicted. There's always an appeal process.
Yes.
Yeah. Appeal at the Court of Appeal. In the Bahamas, we also get in the United Kingdom, the Privy Council, and have seen and I've known of cases of guilty folks who went free because of circumstances, because of error of law. So it's not over even if you were convicted. And also think about it. It's an opportunity for you now to take an introspection of your life.
I like that. Go ahead, Dion.
Yes. So I would say this is the time now to take self-inventory. And that self-inventory is pretty much looking around and seeing what can you do? How can you make $1? How can you increase your margin? How can you make a profit? Whether it's $1, $5, $10, $100, $1,000, whatever it is. Look in your immediate circle and see how you can cultivate what you have in front of you.
That is so good. Listen, let me ask you this. What is one, I want you all to talk about, what is one mistake that you noticed people were making in 2020 that interestingly, we're like, what, 14 days in, 15 days into 2021, and you're seeing the same mistakes already being made again. Any view on that? And what stands out to both of you guys?
Right now, I see a lot of persons still focusing on the pandemic. This is the time now to, like I mentioned earlier, to take self-inventory. Look at those 3 top priorities. When I say inventory, you got your top priority, your medium priority, and your low priorities. Those top priorities, you got to address those, and you can't wait to address those. You have to address those now. Anytime you have debt over your head, that's a weight on your shoulder. My recommendation is to start addressing those debt first, head on. The less you have going out, the more you can do with what your goals and visions may be. So definitely top priority, focus on those first. Look at to see what your medium priorities are, address those. And then the low priorities, you can come to those, but they're not pressing right now. But execution, aggressiveness, being bold, I'm not seeing that. And if you do that, you'll be successful.
So you agree then that there are too many people that were passive in the midst of the pandemic? What would you say to that?
Can you say that again? Repeat it again.
Would you agree that too many people were passive during the pandemic, during 2020, at the height of the pandemic? Do you think that there were too many people passive, too reserved, too taking it too soft, when the reality of it is it's the hustlers, the fighters that's going to win?
Well, you got to keep in mind, there are some persons who've done real well and still doing real well in this pandemic. And the thought where you had to save a 3 months or a 6 month saving, those days are out the door. Now you have to prepare for a year worth of saving and being able to execute your funds in the right directions. So definitely, I would recommend that you do a bunch of investments as well too.
Good deal. Good deal. What about you, Quintin Percentie? You're looking back at 2020. Common mistakes that you think.
I agree with Dion. A lot of people are still focusing on the pandemic, but we got to look at the post-pandemic, or we have to look at functioning in this pandemic. All right, it's not going away for another year, another 2 years. So we have to now, how are we going to work in this pandemic environment? Yeah. And a lot of people, I was passing through my old neighborhood, and I saw one of my friends who worked at a hotel, a local hotel in the Bahamas, and he's saying, "Oh man, I haven't worked for almost a year," and it's like he wants to give up. But I tell him, "Listen, man, think outside the box. There are something you're able to do to make money. There's money to be made."
Yeah.
But you have to just think outside of the box, be more innovative, come up with creative ideas, and listen, man, you can make it happen for yourself. You just be innovative. Stop being passive.
There are creative ways
just
to make money.
Yeah, just to pick off where he left off at, you have to be able to switch real fast. Not staying stagnated into one place. You got to be able to be adjustable. And if you're able to be adjustable, you're able to make different decisions and make different moves in order to make it.
But some people, they're so locked on that habit of having this sure thing. And it was a sure thing for a while. And they've become so built on this idea that my position won't go away. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been doing this for 15 years. And I feel good. I've been making this type of money. And let's talk about this. I like what you're saying, Dion, in relations about being flexible. You got laid off from the hotel. You were making really good money, maybe in senior management in the hotel. But the hotel's been closed now for some 10 months. Let's just say your hotel has been closed for some 10 months. But you have a skill to cook. Or you manage cleaning the hotel rooms. Your management skill for cleaning for cleaning an environment could have it that you hire 10 ladies, some guys, and you start offering a service to clean people's homes who have the money in the pandemic but don't want to clean their homes. Now you can accept, but someone say, "Well, I don't want to start from the bottom," because they're used to managing 100 people and just getting that check, and they had the little small corner office. But now, what are you saying to me, Ricardo? Start at the bottom and introduce a small business idea. The reality of it is that small business idea can make more money than they were making. What's wrong with people not embracing that idea? Anybody talk to me about what keeps people back from pivoting and shifting to that dynamics?
Well, it's all about the data. A lot of persons, everybody can have a great idea, and we all know the concept saying, hey, you can have a great idea, but it is the execution part. You got to be able to execute it. And by executing it, getting the data, doing your research, using the resources that's available to you right in your circle. And like you mentioned, selling food, doing food deliveries, whatever it takes to move that trajectory, that's what you should be doing right now. And definitely, whatever you put your mind to do, you can achieve it.
Yeah, I totally agree. What about you, Percentie?
Great point. You know, during the pandemic, I was telling a number of my cousins, I said, listen here, everyone have to eat. Yeah? You make great macaroni. Everybody come to you and say, oh, bake this pan of macaroni. Come on now. Make it a business. Sell a slice of macaroni, $2 a slice, man. Come on. You can make an extra $100 at least on a weekend. So at least you have some what we call disposable income. So that's the idea of being innovative, as Dion would have indicated, and putting those innovation into practice.
That is so good. I was encouraging a few individuals that I was working with not so long ago that, you know, some people iron well, some people hate ironing. You can start ironing service. Some people hate doing their yards, but yards still needs to be done during a pandemic. You know, like you said, delivery services. Delivery service is a big business now because some people don't want to come out of their house. It's not that they don't have they don't have a money issue. They have a concern issue on coming out of the house. So you
Miller,
can
watch
provide
this.
Assistance with someone having that need.
Miller, watch this. What's going on in the Bahamas now? You don't need to go to the grocery store. Some individuals now create a business going to the grocery store for you and shopping for you.
Yes.
You don't need to go to the leave your office to go for lunch. Some innovative person in the Bahamas came up with an idea. Hey, I will go shopping for your lunch for you. You stay in the office, I'll take your orders, and I will deliver it. That's innovation.
Yes.
Right. And when you think about all of that, it all boils down meeting the need. If you can actually meet a need for an individual with the services, right there.
Yep. Oh, that is so good, guys. Thank you so much. Let me ask you this question. What has been one of the most difficult decisions you've had to make that has brought you to this point of pretty much the tremendous success you both are experiencing now in your life? What would you say was the most difficult decision you had to make? You made the decision and it actually was a plus for you, but it was difficult.
Mine's is, I got to go back, I got to go back to my mom's principle. She said, treat people with dignity, respect, always be kind to people. And looking back and comparing and contrasting that now, it has definitely paid off. Treating people with dignity and respect.
That is so good. I know sometimes people can be difficult. and to not lose that principle that your mother taught you. You say, you know what, Mama, listen, let me tell you something. You'll have to deal with the people I have to deal with. But
exactly.
You're correct, Dion. You've always dealt really well with people, and so I think that's awesome. What about you, Percentie? What was a tough decision that you've had to make, learn to live with, but it was a good one for you?
When I studied in the United States, I did economics and business administration. And so about 10 years in, I said, oh, I really wanted to do my law thing. And the most difficult decision I decided to make was, hey, inform my job, listen here, I needed some time off. I head off to England, spent 3 years in England, studying, reading law, and to be able to today, almost 10 years later, of becoming a lawyer. So that was a difficult decision to make. I mean, it cost me have an actual mortgage, but it was a difficult decision making that in terms of improving myself, and I'm reaping the benefits today.
Let me ask you both this question. What advice would you give 20-year-old Dion? What advice would you give 20-year-old Quintin Percentie? Hey, what advice would you give 20-year-old Dion? Knowing what you know now, if you had to give yourself this advice at 20, what would you say?
Well, I would say to always, man, that's a tough one there.
Yeah,
but definitely, I would just tell myself to continue treating people the way how they need to be treated, because it goes a long way. It definitely does. Percentie mentioned how being went off to college and definitely getting his law degree paid off up to this day. Me being nice to different people and persons paid off this day for me in favor, because as years went by, I saw the blessings that, being nice at 20 and even being nice today has still, paid off.
Hey, listen, I can testify to that. When I moved here, I can remember Dion would come by and Dion say, "Here's 150. Here's one. Put this 50 in your pocket. Put this. Here's this 100." He had that Pentecostal handshake 20 years ago. And he's like, what you doing? You need to get out of that place and go work out. And it took me to 24-hour fitness and exposed me to those environments. So you're correct. You've always done that. What about you, Percentie?
Just to piggyback on what you were saying, Dion has always been a nice guy. When we first started in Living Waters and we used to go up there to Texas, everybody, went to the hotel room and they said, wait a minute. And I looked at it, well, Jesus, everybody were married, so they have their own room. So Dion said, don't worry about that, Quintin. Come take my bed.
Yeah. Good stuff, man.
20-year-old Quintin, although I was very focused as a 20-year-old, and in fact, the truth be told, I finished my bachelor's degree when I was 20 years of age. I was focused, but I was a little bit uptight. I was a little bit too serious, and I was not too flexible, as it were, in terms of enjoying life and doing some things. That's the only thing I would tell a 20-year-old Quintin. Be more flexible, enjoy life, as it were.
Wow, enjoy the journey. And see, I would be the complete opposite. I would tell 20-year-old Ricardo, dive in more in those books. Because I think I was trying to enjoy the journey so much that I forgot the books, man. All right, let's ask you this, okay? What does effective living look like for both of you guys? I know you all, you've got the books. Dion mentioned, Percentie, I don't know if you heard it. Dion mentioned that he's going to give you a challenge to make sure you get 10 of those books. See, he has the book right there.
Can I dash and get my book, please?
No, you just stay right there.
I have my book.
Excellent. But what does effective living look like for you guys? Talk about that for a minute.
Well, effective living for me pretty much look like having several different streams of income that's working for me, not me working for it.
Yep. That's good. Oh man. That definitely helps, right? Because that is so good, Dion, because a part of my statement is that I'm creating a life I don't need a vacation from, and to have those multiple streams of income allows you.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Life gets much more easier and better when it's working.
Yes. What about you, Percentie?
Well, the effective living for me is all about making strategic moves and also to partnership, network. And during this time, during this period, in order for me to pivot, in order for me to now move to what I would say the next level.
So thank you guys. In closing, what winning advice would you give for someone for 2021? I mean, I want you to challenge our viewers. 2021 is the year for winning in every area. And if you're watching right now, you need to declare that. Put that in the comment box. Don't forget that this is your statement of truth that you're going to live with the entire year. So, gentlemen, what advice would you give those that are viewing to ensure that they continue to win or they set themselves up to win this year? What would you say? Hey, 15 days in, from this point on, make a commitment. What would that be?
My advice pretty much is take self-inventory of yourself. Capitalize on the network and the internet if you're in business and you're trying to expand your global view. Other recommendation is to build good, clean relationships.
Good.
Relationships will get you and help you in the time of need. Do not break good relationships.
Man, Dion, that is so good. Someone is assigned to help you. I've been talking about that. And someone is watching you, master, who is capable of helping you. But if you build good relationship, they're more inclined to help you in those times of need. You're so right. Quintin Percentie?
I'm going to take off where you left off. Someone is assigned to you.
Yeah.
You have to know who's assigned to you, and then you have to know the difference of that H. Who's assigned to help and who's assigned to hurt, knowing the difference. Yeah? And they are in your life. Once you know who is assigned to you, listen, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Okay? Persons are willing and able to help you to get you where you need to be in this 2021.
Hey, man, listen.
Hey, be bold, be aggressive.
Yeah.
And go after it, man.
Be bold, be aggressive, go after it. Someone is assigned to help you. Hey guys, I know both of you guys have to go. It's going to be a full day for both of you guys, including myself. You know, I like what Percentie closed it out with that idea. Someone is assigned to help you. You guys, over the years, obviously, someone helped you. Dion, when you came to the United States for the first time. Quintin Percentie, when you went to London. These guys, ladies and gentlemen, are the result of a lot of good principles being applied over time that brought them up to the place to which they are. If you guys got my book, I need an endorsement. Say something about the book.
We cannot leave here this morning. Percentie, you better dig deep. Because I'm going to put forth a challenge today. And the challenge is I want to give 10 of these books to your 10 audience. The first 10 of your audience, I want to donate 10 of these books to them. Percentie, are you matching me today?
I'm matching you, brother. I'm matching you. The first 10 audience in the Bahamas. And listen,
so we have 20 books that's going out, Ricardo. So 20 books to your first 20 viewers that reply back to you.
All right. Hold on. We go past this. This is amazing. Okay, thank you very much, both of you guys. Because Percentie, I got books on the ground. You can get your books today, brother.
I know where to get them.
Hey, Dion, thank you so much. But hey, guys, you heard a challenge just now. If you don't have Effective Living the book and you're in the Bahamas, guess what? Contact me because Quintin Percentie has generously decided to sponsor 10 books in the Bahamas, and Dion Dean has decided to sponsor 10 books here in the United States. And so if you have not gotten the book, these guys, look at that, man. See here, give and it should be given back unto you. Good measure, pressed down, running over. That's one of the reasons why these guys are doing so well. And so, Percentie, what do you got to say? Because Dion just challenged them. Make sure you let those people know they need to send their names in so we can contact them.
Please send your names in. If you are in the Bahamas, even if you're in the Family Islands, we'll make sure to get the book to you. All right? So please send us your name to get this free Effective Living book by Ricardo Coach Miller.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, see, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, you got to be surrounded by some good people, man. 2 of these dudes just got 10 books.
That's my boy.
10 for the United States, 10 for the Bahamas. If you're watching, make sure you direct message me. If you're here in the United States or in the Bahamas, I will make sure I get those books to you. Gentlemen, continue to shine, continue to do well. thank you for all that you're doing with your various ventures. I can see that 2021 is going to be a phenomenal year for both of you because you're already starting it off in a grand way. What is that? You're giving. You're giving back. And so for those of you that are watching, you know what? One of the things that I've come to accept, and that is someone always provides an opportunity for someone to come up if they really want to come up. And if you're sensitive to moments like this, there may have been people who are watching me for a while and say, I want that book. But now you get a chance to get that book if you were just basically here and you also were prepared to respond. So please go ahead and do that. Get your copy of Effective Living. As a matter of fact, Dion, when we did our book review, the first time the book launched, I remember you called in and did a similar deal and got yourself some books. And Percentie just got his. Did I sign your book, Percentie?
Yes, my book is signed. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, two guys
I signed
from the
too.
Bahamas. Yes, one here in the look at him. Listen, one here in the United States, Dion has decided to sponsor 10 books. To any of you guys, the first 10 to direct message me if you're in the United States and say, hey, I want a copy of that book, compliment of Dion Dean. I'll make sure I get out to you. And for those of you in the Bahamas, once again, give me your name and we'll get that book to you because Quintin Percentie has decided to be generous in sponsoring that book. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Y'all have a great day, man. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all just made my day.
Hey, thank you, Ricardo. God bless you and continue doing the great work that you're doing for such a time like this.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, listen, Keno McCartney, next time we're going to have to bring Keno McCartney from the Bahamas on with a conversation like this on Franco Charles.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, my. Yes, do it. Yes, do it.
What a platform would that be?
Good stuff. Thank you.
Hey, I think we'll need like 2 hours to do that show.
I know. I totally agree with you. Bye, guys. Y'all have a great day. Don't forget to tag. Don't forget to send your name in if you want to get that copy of the book. Blessings to you all today.